have the elders come up here in just a second. I'm just going to share something real quick with you guys. Oh, sorry, I guess we're leaving all our trash. That thing I did with Isaac was a lot better than that. I can't even see right now. That is really no joke. So, just a couple thoughts before the elders come up. You know, one of the things that I was thinking about, I don't know how I'm going to try and do this. This is so stupid. The idea of a new year and what we look forward as we go into a new year. And as we go into a new year, there's resolutions, right? My glasses are fogging up. Can make this bigger so I can read it. The idea going into a new year is that you're leaving things behind, you're going forward to something, New Year's resolutions. And the idea, you know, and I mentioned this a couple years ago, every year Kris does these cards that she gives to the kids and myself. And these cards have what happened over the last year. And it's just these memories that I have to look back on as time goes on. And, you know, she's been doing this for years. My favorite gift, hands down, I had to get some pretty cool Lego sets this year too. But I really like the cards that Kris gives me. They're very, very special. And, you know, 2 years ago was the last time we had a New Year's Eve gathering in 2019. So we didn't have it last year. And it's interesting, when I was looking back, exactly 2 years ago, December 31st, 2019, that's when the WHO actually was informed of a number of these cases of this new disease breaking out in the Wuhan province. It wasn't anything that was even on anybody's radar when we were having New Year's Eve Talent Show 2 years ago. And then everything changed. Just everything is something that none of us have lived through before, as far as just the way that the world changed down to the way their nation changed. You know, it affected everything. It affected work. It affected the way we gathered as an assembly. There were a lot of things where there were divisions amongst people, and there still are to an extent with, you know, just all these different things that have come out of this. And just thinking about all these things, you know, and all these changes. And, you know, one of the things I was going to do tonight that I thought would be a good idea, and obviously I didn't have a lot of good ideas with what I did tonight, but I had, when we were doing Zoom, there was a period there where everybody still had their cameras on. And that was so fun, seeing everybody in their natural habitats when we weren't meeting. And I took screenshots of a lot of you while we were doing this. Creepy, yes, maybe. I mean, who's to judge, right? But what I was going to do is, I thought it would be a fun thing to do tonight, would be actually to have those up there and guess who these people were by just blurring out the faces and see if you could recognize who these people were. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do. And then I was like, well, that is really stalker and creepy, and decided it was probably not the best idea. I didn't go that route. But what I enjoyed about it when I was looking at that was I was looking at all these people and all these faces. You know, there was a period when we first started doing Zoom where the Jeff City Church wasn't meeting, and you know, we had all the Jeff City folk doing the meeting with us, and people, you know, Jaden up at when he was up in Michigan and Tepsi, and all these people, you know, Jennifer was on that, you know, and there were people from all over that were doing this, and part of the Zoom meetings where we had all these people that were together through this really weird form of communication where we were all coming together to be able to remember the Lord and have these meetings and do these things. And it wasn't optimal, but it served a purpose, and it was just a neat thing. And I was thinking about that, and, you know, thinking about how all these things changed back in because of what happened in 2020. And, you know, as we go and we look back the last couple of years, there's been a lot of changes, you know, and there's so many changes, and change can be really hard. You know, thinking about, you know, death, thinking about my dad, losing my dad, that's a hard thing. You know, I've not lost a lot of people that over the course of my life that meant a lot to me. And that was a hard thing. And it is a hard thing. I shouldn't say was. It is a hard thing to go through. But that is a change. That is a thing that you go through as a part of life. We also have seen things where we've seen amazing things. Children born. Over the last year and a half, there have been a number of people that have come into the assembly, new family members, because we're a family, right? We've seen marriages. We've seen a number of people get married in the last couple of years. I mean, Will and Sharon, I think, were married in the last year and a half. Y'all were married in the last year and a half. Larry. We've had all these marriages, these new beginnings for these individuals as well. And we've had some families that have gone to other churches. We've had some new people that we've had come in over the last couple of years, and it's just been this cycle of change, and it's just a thing that is always going on in milestones. If you think about, we've got kids that have graduated. Jaden graduated TEPSI, kids that are going off to college, people changing jobs, all these things. Again, just these cycles and these parts of life. One of the things I was looking at is I always keep all the chapel channels, and I keep all the things that come through from the church. And I look at the number each year of prayer requests that come through and updates that come through. And in 2019, there were 240 different prayer requests that came through. 2020, they're almost exactly the same, 238. And then this last year to date, 246. And it was weird, I was looking at the last prayer request that came through in each one of these years. In 2019, the last prayer request that came through was Ismail. That was when your mother had passed, and that was 2019. And that was the last one that came through chapel channels in 2019. And then in 2020, that was when Grandma Farwell had just come out of the hospital. And that was when Heather was going through things with her father down in Phoenix, I believe. Those both came through the very last day, I think, of 2020. And then the very last one we had today was with Kathy going home, being able to go home from the hospital. So there's all these things that we've seen, these prayer requests. And this is something that, as I think about over the last year, all the prayer requests that have been answered, every single prayer request that's been on that chapel channels that we prayed for, these, whatever it is, they've all been answered. And that's such a blessing to know that we have a God that hears us. And that message series we had on prayer is probably one of the most meaningful message series that I've ever seen here at the chapel. I mean, that just meant so much to me, just thinking about what prayer means, not just for me in my life, but for us and how we pray for each other and we can come together. And I just, to all of you, want to say, when we come together with each other at a thing like this, I'm ashamed to say it, but you guys all heard me downstairs getting into the food. Good food, right? And I have no idea who came and set up all the food. I don't even know who cleaned up all the food tonight. But we are, all of you guys, the way we are a family and how we love each other and look out for each other and how we encourage each other and just how much all of you mean to me, and just I know how much you guys mean to each other, to seeing the interactions tonight. It's just such a blessing. And I just want to just say it's just such a blessing to be part of an assembly and a body that loves the Lord. And I'm just glad that we can do this. Again, I'm how old I am. And I've been doing this since I was a little kid, minus a chunk of my life there. But it's just such a nice thing to be able to do and to come together with you guys on New Year's Eve and be able to spend this time together. Just one verse, and then we'll have the elders come up here. Lamentations 3:22. This is one I shared a couple years ago. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. So, just going into the new year, just thinking about the Lord's faithfulness and just how faithful he is to us. So